Hey, Michael, what are we talking about
We're
today?
talking about the greatest movie of all time. It debuted in, I think, late 2016, starring what's her name? The loud one.
Melissa
Uh,
McCarthy,
yeah, no, not that one.
Kristen
Uh,
Wiig.
no, not that one.
Oh, Leslie Jones.
Yeah,
It's funny because they're all the loud one.
of
Um,
course, and they're all the funny ones too.
right.
Uh, yeah, but we watched that one starring Leslie Jones, Amelia Earhart, and Melissa Villaseñor,
Melissa,
and
Amelia Earhart?
yeah, Amelia Earhart was in the movie. Yeah, she was in there.
No,
Yeah.
that was Amy Adams was Amelia Earhart in National Treasure 2. No. Anyway, 60
So,
seconds on the clock. You ready to start talking about
oh my
Ghostbusters?
god, dude, I would love to
Go.
start talking about
Go.
Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters is a 19 something movie where
84.
84. It's a 1984 slasher flick where we have Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and Theo
Ernie
Vaughn,
Hudson.
Theo Vaughn, the comedian. They're all
Oh,
together
wait, Harold Ramis. I
and
thought
and,
you were
and they
trying
and
to
they
think
all
of the
come
black
together and they
one.
all fight ghosts and they have to make sure that they don't cross their streams or else something bad will happen or it's very it's man it's very scandalous to cross your screams to cross your streams if you but at the end they cross the streams and they're like oh no and then
Michael, what are your
there's like a
actual
gate.
opinions on this movie? You have 20 seconds.
Oh, okay, it's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I can just say what I want.
Yeah, you weren't like, here, I'll
No
start you over.
way.
We've done this before.
Dude, I get to voice my opinion.
Yes,
That's insane.
this is your 1 minute to voice your actual opinion.
Oh, well, in that case, and then you cut right there.
No.
Okay,
We
no.
already did that joke.
I know, but it will be funny. It would be funny. It would be funny.
50 seconds.
50. Oh, dude, I get a whole new set of seconds.
Yes. 45.
No, wait.
Timer's running. There's 40.
Okay.
Come on, I'm not
Okay.
starting it over.
So, Ghostbusters. Uh, personally, to me, when I was a young child, I was horrified of this movie. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why. Scary, spooky ghosts. Um, but I think what this movie does best is its mix of practical and special effects, where they use more practical than they do special effects, but their special effects aren't as campy and as unbelievable as stuff later down the road with the incline of CGI in newer films, which kind of ruins the movie going experience for me a little bit because it makes films not seem authentic enough. And I think that's one of the key things that Ghostbusters had alongside Bill Murray.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
So you're one of those people that's not like a big CGI person?
See, okay, I
So we're back to Ghostbusters
Oh my god, I love Ghostbusters so much. You know what?
now.
One of the
All
things
right.
that I love about Ghostbusters is its CGI. It
Yeah, I was
outweighs
gonna
its
say.
practical effects tenfold, man. It's so great. I love
Okay.
it. Anyway, tell me what you think about
All right.
Ghostbusters.
So would you like to know what our topic of the day is?
Is it Ghostbusters?
Well, yeah, no duh.
All right.
um
I
no,
guessed right.
it's about how Ghostbusters has the greatest character introductions out of any movie ever.
Sure, sure.
I'm intentionally using hyperbole. I think that Ghostbusters has the kind of character introductions that are perfectly economic to the script,
Right.
where it takes them a total of like 30 seconds. Um,
Okay.
so the idea started out as what I think the best scene in the movie is, which is the first scene with Venkman running the experiment.
Mhm.
But I realized, well, what purpose is that serving? Why do I like it so much? And then I realized that it's a part of this bigger cog in the machine. So when I say that first experiment, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I am. I do know what you're talking about.
Okay, describe for me, please, and talk slightly louder.
The first experiment.
Slightly less louder.
Slightly less louder. What are you talking about, man?
I need a tissue. Okay, talk.
The forced experiment. Fucking. Isn't that the one where he's messing around with the little contraption doodad?
All right, I can talk about it. I'm done blowing my nose.
Is it still suspended in space and time?
Of course.
Oh, great.
What else would I do? No.
Yeah.
So the idea of that.
It's all right, man. Take your time.
It's that time of year.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's running an experiment with two people, a guy and a girl. And he says about halfway through, because he's holding up cards with their backs to them and they have to try to guess what shape is on them. And if they get it wrong, he'll buzz them. He's letting the girl get wrong answers and telling her she's right. And then the guy, he buzzes no matter what. He says halfway through that the point of the experiment is seeing what the effect of negative reinforcement has on ESP abilities. Now, why that's funny, and it's a joke that I did not get until I was 20 years old, and I watch this movie all the time, is the fact that the guy, after getting shocked a couple times, starts getting the cards right. Like he gets like down to the last one, he's like a couple of wavy lines, and it's literally 3 squiggly lines on the back of the card, and Venkman buzzes him wrong anyway. And that's why, like, I think it's one of like the funniest jokes in the whole movie is the fact that Venkman was right, and his hypothesis is correct. Negative reinforcement literally gave this guy psychic abilities. And the best part is he doesn't notice and doesn't care because he's just trying to get in the girl's pants.
Three lines. 3 squiggly lines.
Yeah. A couple of wavy lines. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, and I thought that that's some of the best writing I've ever seen, where it's like this guy is smart. Like he's a scientist and he's right about this thing and doesn't care at all because there's a hot girl sitting there. Where I'm like, that's like the best character introduction out of all of them, but it's not. So I see these introductions as serving two purposes: introducing us to the character and introducing us to their role as a part of a comedic troupe, almost like an improv troupe.
Okay.
So Venkman is obviously the host character. You know what I mean? Where he's the one who would come out and say, "Does anyone have any suggestions for us? We need a place, we need a name, whatever, that kind of stuff." He's the front man. Okay.
The lead singer of the band.
Sure. I'm thinking more specifically like comedy troupe.
Yeah. Like,
and it'll make more sense as I keep going down the line.
Yeah.
So later in that same scene, we get introduced to Ray Stantz, Dan Aykroyd. Do you remember how he is introduced?
Oh, of course. Here, I can reenact it.
He's just gonna walk in and go, "Hi, I'm Dan Aykroyd."
No. What's up, guys? I'm Dan Aykroyd. Crystal Skull Vodka.
I knew that one was coming. Anyway,
delicious.
So he comes in and interrupts Venkman trying to get laid. Venkman bursts in. He's like, "Hey, we just got a new thing." Like he's super excited, like hyper chaotic kind of guy. Does not take Venkman's hints that he should just back off for a little bit. Plus the fact that Venkman like smacks him over the top of the head, where like it all drills home. This guy's like Peter Venkman's little brother, kind of, where he's like that, and he fills out that kind of character where he is in a troupe of like four people doing improv. He would be the one doing most of like the physical comedy.
Okay.
He would be the one who's actually like playing the character. Um and that's like you get introduced to that by him coming in and having the most energy of everyone in the room. And what?
What? No, no, I'm just saying what he says.
You're just being energetic.
Yeah. Venkman.
Um and that's like you get his character and his role in the group right away, because you get that character dynamic just from him like innocently not understanding that he's trying to like sleep with this girl,
Right.
and also like, hey, here's this thing I'm excited about, and I'm not gonna let you talk about anything else until we go do it. Like he's like a little kid. Now the best one out of the four is the next one. Who's next?
Freaking, oh my god. Egon. No,
Egon.
Egon.
Egon Spengler.
I always forget his name.
So that's Harold Ramis, the guy who wrote it and who directed Caddyshack.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he wrote it. And he wrote and directed Caddyshack and a lot of other things. Like Harold Ramis is amazing.
Yeah, I didn't know that at all.
But so Egon, his is like the most straightforward and the most like amazing. Number one, you understand pretty much everything you need to know about him from the fact that his name is Egon Spengler. That gives you a pretty decent understanding. But there's two moments in very quick succession that let you know like who this guy is. So the first one is when he's sitting there with like the stethoscope and he's listening to just like a table, and he's just sitting there, and then Venkman walks up behind him and like starts tapping on the wood and then slams on it, and he jumps up and he goes, "Oh, Peter." Like he just goes like he should be mad, but he's just like, Peter, there you are. Where like right away he's the straight man. Like that's the role that he's gonna play.
Very dry.
Yeah.
Political.
But then you also get right after that where Venkman goes, this is just like that time you tried to drill a hole in your head. And he goes, that would have worked if you didn't stop me. Like where he's the straight man, but as a character, he's the most bizarre out of everyone in that room, like right. to an insane degree. And I think that's like the fact that back to back they can show those two complete juxtapositions in almost the same way. Like I think that's some of like the best like economics in terms of script writing I've ever seen. Especially considering most of the stuff in that movie was ad-libbed. Like that, the line that would have worked if you didn't stop me, that was ad-libbed by Harold Ramis.
Jeez.
Yeah, like almost that entire movie is. And then of course there's the last Ghostbuster, who was originally supposed to be Eddie Murphy, and he was going to have a whole like backstory where he was in the Marines and blah blah blah, this whole big thing. And then Eddie Murphy said no. So when
why did he say no?
I think he was doing Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh, really?
Or Trading. No, it wouldn't be Trading Places because Dan Aykroyd was in Trading Places.
Wait, when did Ghostbusters come out?
84.
I'm just gonna look up Eddie Murphy movies right now. Just see which one.
I think it was Beverly Hills Cop.
Eddie Murphy. Let me see. 84 movies.
I'll keep talking.
Yeah. Beverly Hills Cop. Yeah.
That's what I thought. But anyway, so Ernie Hudson came in and they cut his character back, and they cut him from, instead of being like equal to the guys, but instead of being a scientist, he's like the combat guy or whatever. They made him into the everyman, and they do that like he's the audience related character, and they do that in his introduction without him even saying anything. I think that one's the most impressive in ways, because his introduction, you see uh him with the newspaper where they put in like an ad for they need a fourth guy,
Right.
and you see his face and he's just kind of like, and you look up and he's looking at the sign, the Ghostbusters sign, and like boom, right there you're like, I know everything I need to know about this guy. And then they just hammer it home by the interview. Janine, her name was. She says like, "Do you
Yeah.
believe in extraterrestrials,
And he's like,
ghosts,
I'll believe
ESP, the
in
theory of life?"
anything you want as long
Yeah,
as you pay me. You give
if
me
it's got a
money,
steady paycheck, I'll believe
yeah,
anything you tell me to.
yeah.
I'm like, he sells that character so quickly, where you just understand like this is the basics of comedy. These are the people you need. You need the front man who can sell the joke. You need
Right.
the funny one with enough energy to be able to fill out the entire stage. You need the straight man, and you need the everyman, where the straight man responds to everything like it's normal, whereas the everyman responds to things like a normal person would.
All
And
right.
like,
Question.
yes,
Out of us two right now, who do you think resembles uh one of the Ghostbusters the most? So for you, would you be the straight man? Would you be what would you be?
I
What do
think
what do you think?
I think because there's two of us, I think it really makes it hard to nail down as one. I think
Okay.
that
Okay.
we both
Let's think in
trade the
terms of
roles a little.
combinations then.
Okay.
So certain traits that both of us have
Okay.
that they would have.
Um well, first of all, I don't think either of us do the Winston. I don't think we respond to anything like a normal person does. We either super overreact or we go
Yeah,
total straight. I don't
yeah,
think
that's
we
true.
ever like do anything else.
I literally call you dad all the time.
Exactly.
So
I think
let's see.
I th- but this might also be because I feel like we would both in our heads think that we're Peter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
You know, I feel like
a
that's
little
just
bit.
like a in our head where we're
Yeah,
both like, yeah, I'm the front man. But it's because
exactly.
there's only two of us. We both are. Like
Yeah,
that's
we're both
how it
the front
works.
man.
Um, I feel like in terms of I think we do all three roles. I think that one is the one that's actually split up almost 50-50,
Mhm.
just because we both do the hosting thing on separate times. But I think 9 times out of 10, maybe not 9, I'd say it's 60-40. You're more Ray and I'm more Egon.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I play straight
I can
to a
get behind.
lot of
I
the
can get behind
weird things that you do, but there are also times where I just get on a bit and just go.
that. Right. A great example of that. Self plug. The Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
Holy cow, dude! Those last episodes that I edited, I was howling with laughter. It was so nuts. Oh my god.
But I think it just depends on I think that comes down to which of us comes up with an idea for a bit faster.
Mhm.
Where whoever is the one where I'm like, all right, I have the idea. It's easier to just be the Ray than to communicate to the other person that you want them to do that and be the straight man.
Right.
So we just kind of start going and rely on the other one to play it straight.
Yeah. Yeah. So someone to pick up.
But I think that we have gained a talent for that because we've been doing it for so long. Like we have the ability to read each other's like humor in that moment and respond to it the way that it needs to be responded to.
Yeah.
Which is why we're coming to every local comedy club near you. The new duo Yin and Yang.
Which one's yin? Which one's yang? You have to come to the show to find out.
Yeah.
Tickets are only $94.95. That's
Nice.
$94 per ticket.
Yes.
We
Um,
both do 1 minute stand-up sets. That's it. That's it.
independent of each other, not even like on stage at the same time.
No. On stage, two different stages. You know, two
Oh,
different stages. They have to pick which one they want to watch
I was gonna say
more.
we have to we do them at the same time, and
Yeah,
no one can tell apart because we're gonna be
exactly.
both speaking in our same monotone voices.
No, but I'm gonna try to outdo you. I'm gonna talk louder, and then you're gonna try to talk louder. And then we're just gonna be screaming into the microphones, and then the guy in the back will be like, "Yo, dude, that's 1 minute." And then we'll be like, and we'll both
Hey,
go
that's my
insane.
time.
Yeah, hey, it's my time. Gosh.
Stop farting right as I put the microphone down there.
Okay.
I just realized that that wouldn't be a prank on you because I edit these.
Yeah, you edited it. Yeah.
But next time
Was it
we're
supposed to make a sound? Because
no, it
I
didn't. I didn't get
yeah.
the microphone down there in time for the fart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't hear anything. So
Yeah.
that's just a double whammy on your part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think this video has turned more into the cast of Ghostbusters and how they fit into the general roles of comedy and how they perfectly align themselves. You know what I mean? So let's discuss that. I'll put another, let's say 5 minutes on. We'll talk. We'll do a
I'm trying
little
to think
bit
of
of talking about that.
dry comedians. Let me see.
The idea of like,
Well, because
so
I'm trying to place each person as a specific comedian.
I think it's easier to do if you put you think of it in terms of groups of comedians.
Groups of
So
comedians.
because that's
Oh, no.
really what it is. If you try to do individual comedians, it'll be a little more difficult.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they're not, the whole point of the roles that they're playing is that they play off of each other. So if we pick who's a comedy troupe that normally, who's like a group of comedic actors who normally work together.
Freaking. I mean, just because I watched their improv special like a couple weeks ago, Ben Schwartz and Thomas Middleditch. I think that's how you say his
Tom
name.
Middleditch. Yeah.
Thomas Middleditch. Yeah.
Um, how would you classify them?
Oh, I'd say Benjamin. He is more of the he's more the front man. He's the
Yeah.
guy that'll set things up. So in terms of like volleyball,
Yeah.
he's the guy that'll set things up.
He
And then
sets it, they spike it.
Thomas will come up, freaking
I gotcha.
smack that ball down.
Yeah, I actually I understand that. My head goes to, I had it, I just lost it. I'm so irritated. Like Judd Apatow actors. So like
What do you mean?
Seth Rogen.
Oh, that bunch.
So think of The World's End. No, The World's End is the one with Simon Pegg.
Simon Pegg.
What's the other one that came out at the same time with a similar name, but they have nothing in common?
I think it's just called The End. It's
This is the end.
This is the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that the one where
it's the apocalypse?
Who's the rapist in that? He tries to like.
Oh,
is that Jonah Hill?
No, Jonah Hill isn't the rapist. What's his name?
Yeah, him. Yeah.
Southbound and Down or whatever. Eastbound and Down. What is his name?
I cannot for the likes of me remember.
Yeah, I know. It's gonna drive me. We'll put it up on the screen.
Yeah. Here he is, the rapist.
Anyway, but I feel like you could easily classify them into those roles. Mm-hmm. So, like, obviously, Jay Baruchel is the everyman in that movie, mm-hmm. and I would say Seth Rogen is the straight man because Jay Baruchel is like the outsider, and Seth Rogen is the normal one. But he sees all the weird stuff the celebrities are doing as normal. So it's like Jay's like, "What's going on?" And Seth's just like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." I would say James Franco is probably the Ray Stantz. You know what I mean? Where he's like the super energetic one who's really going that extra mile. And then I would also put Jonah Hill in that role. And then the front man is the one from The Office.
Oh my god.
You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, that guy.
Dennis?
Are
No.
you trying to like his actual name or his movie name?
They're the same thing. He played himself in the movie. Everyone played themselves in that movie.
That's right. Aha.
Uh-huh.
I totally that's
Or is Dennis his name in The Office?
I think Dennis is his name in The Office.
What's
Let me
his
see.
name? Craig Robinson.
Yes. My dad met him once.
I'm gonna cut this out real quick. Actually, no, I'm not gonna cut this out.
All right.
I think kind of the idea is that for every Ray, you have to have someone with them. Like Ray is not funny on his own. Ray is funny when he's getting like a response.
Right.
So I think you're classified by who your response is. If it's straight man, which is Egon, everyman, which is Winston, or like a snark response, which is like on his same level, but like socialized normally.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Okay. I think we're done. We have discussed the roles of comedy
Of course.
in society. We live in a society.
Right.
Right. Okay.
By our supreme leader, Bill Cosby. And we will take that idea and we are gonna knock that out of the park.
Hold on. Go in for. I'm keeping this in. Go in like at the thing, and I'm gonna cut whenever you go in for a hit. Okay.
All right, here we go. We're gonna take
Got
that
it?
idea. There it is.
And
knock it out of the park.
Try again. One more time. One more time. This is all staying in. One shot.
Right,
One shot. One kill.
Ready? All right. We're just gonna take this idea and just knock it out of the park.
Go for like a real hit. Like.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
Like
give it a good.
My TV's here, my guy. So like, I don't know if I want to do that. It's my like. What if I accidentally like swing too hard and then I like lose control and then
simulate.
It's fine.
Act.
Okay, ready? Here we go.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna take that idea. There we go. Set it up and just knock it out of the park. How's that? Was that good?
One more time.
One more time. Okay.
Yeah.
We can do that. Okay. Should I do an accent? Should I do an accent for this one?
What's the most offensive accent you can do?
Black.
Yeah, do that.
All right.
All right, we don't have all day. Come on, let's get this.
Yo, Blair.
Get him one.
We're gonna knock it out of the park, y'all. All right, here we go.
Thanks for not saying the N-word.
How was that? Was that good?
It didn't line up exactly right, so let's just do it one more time.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Should I ditch the accent or should I do another one or something?
I think you could dial it up to 11, actually.
Dial it up to 11? All right.
Yeah.
Hey, guys. So we're going to take this idea. We're going to... all right.
Oh, yes. The blackest man I can think of, Steve Urkel.
I was thinking Chris Tucker.
Oh. You know, in my head, they were the same person for a long time because of the movie Big Fat Liar, where I thought Chris Tucker...
Are they both in that movie?
No. I thought Jaleel White, because he was in that movie, I thought that was Chris Tucker. Oh, because I had never seen Family Matters, and I didn't know who Urkel was. So I thought Chris Tucker was playing someone who was a child actor. Did not realize that was actually Urkel because I did not watch that show.
Hold that thought. We're just going to take that idea, right? Okay. We're going to
Yeah.
We're just going to knock it out of the park. How was that?
Oh, that was so close. You're so close.
So close?
Yeah, one more time.
Okay.
And I think, hold on, I'm gonna give you a motivation.
Yeah, give me some motivation.
Your motivation is to do it right.
Okay.
And I want you to take that motivation.
Okay.
And
swing.
Knock it out of the park.
Knock it out. Okay, so I'm gonna take that idea. Wait, hold on, wait. Can you give it to me real quick? Oh, wait. Can you? Yeah, thank you. All right, so we're gonna take that idea. I'm gonna set it up. Man, it's really suspending up there. All right, and we're gonna knock it.